obstacles did you face, or what surprised you the most? So let's kind of tie that to one question. What surprised you during the project, or what, what?
I'll reiterate what I said previously. What surprised me the most was the amount of time how important it was that I be devoted to the project. And I think that's the biggest obstacle, was my time availability to work with the developers. And we at Trace faced another obstacle, and that was that the other primary developer of our product had passed away. So an awful lot of knowledge went away with him. And I got to say, the Microsoft guy did a really good job of divining purpose out of the software that was not well documented. So the biggest hurdle was myself and availability.
Yeah, I'll second that. That was the obstacle for me as well, as finding the time. It definitely took more time than I anticipated, and a lot of the things had been built so long ago that just shaking off my memory of things. I didn't know if users were still using things, if who was using them, what their purpose was anymore. So that was a challenge, and then getting users to be engaged with the process throughout the whole thing was also, they got very excited at the UI stage, but once it came down to, interrupting their daily work, it was a challenge. So I would have brought on more resources earlier in the project from our side of the business.
They liked the screens looking pretty, but they didn't care how the wiring and the plumbing was behind the wall.
Yeah, they just assume that part will work. So, which, that's not their job.
Anything go better than you expected? We talked about, more time, more obstacles. You got to ask the other side of that question. Anything go particularly well?
I think I was really shocked by the ability to organize and read from the existing code to put together the initial system. So that was a surprise for me, how well that part went.
Yeah, I was surprised specifically on the reports, how well those happened. I think we did those towards the end of our project, and looking at the timeline, I was pretty skeptical we would make a lot of progress on there, but I'm thinking Microsoft has some decent tooling that allows a lot of that to be automated, because that happened very quickly and fairly accurately.
Yeah, on my side of things, what surprised me is, I mentioned that my other, the guy I work with, he had passed away, and we waited on the VB6 stuff too long. And his piece was a highly complex, highly configurable, could do anything you want to in real-time calculations and computations, data collection, totally freehand, if you will. And so it was highly, highly complex, and I'm not a VB guy. So I couldn't really help the developers with the code. What I could help them with is functionality. This is what it does. This is how it does it. I have no idea, what it's supposed to do. No idea how it does it, right? Their ability to dig in, analyze the code, and come up with solutions surprised me, frankly. Really surprised me.
Let's make this our last question, as I see we have just about 5 minutes left. What benefit are you getting as a result of doing this?
A future.
That's it has to be that, as we said, this was the benefit is staying in business, and the benefit for Ryder is they can continue. These mission critical processes are now in a form that they can live with and support, and they're used to. And again, you take a company that's Fortune 500 size, and you start talking about mission critical applications, depending on one guy and software that's no longer supported, for the company, that is extremely frightening. So that would be the only benefit I would see, really.
Yeah, I would agree. That's the primary benefit is, the investors
Why is it
are
only
happy.
one guy? Why can't you? I mean, why are you the only? Why not bring on other developers with you?
I'll tell you that, again, I'm not looking at your faces, but I don't run into a lot of FoxPro guys. I mean, I run in most of the guys that are still doing FoxPro that can talk about stuff going on in the 90s. I don't know. I haven't been out to the conferences, so I can't say that there aren't a ton of young guys out there, but the IT guys I run into kind of turn up their nose at Fox, and because they don't know better.
Yeah, well, and it's, I mean, if I was in my 20s, I would do the same. I mean, I would probably turn up my nose at .NET also, but really the finding talent is considerably easier in the .NET world. It's just a fact of life.
One quick story that somebody told me, and they said, let me ask you a question, Tom. It seems like what you're saying is you bought a license in 1990, 1992, maybe even a couple of them, and you've been developing for 20 or 30 years. How much has Microsoft collected from your work? How much do they collect from the stuff done in .NET, from the cloud and all? I mean, you think about the difference between a FoxPro developer writing all these massive systems that can compete against these massive .NET systems, and you'll find that Microsoft gets millions on the one side and zero on the other side, and you'll understand why Fox is no longer supported and kept down, and a lot of work is done to prevent going forward with Fox. So just a story, but it kind of was eye-opening for me.